We know that fantasy football drafts are right around the corner. And so we're going to do a Would You Rather fantasy football draft edition to help anyone out there who's listening or excuse me, a draft upcoming. I know our draft is, I think, a couple weekends from now on a Sunday. So I'm definitely starting to think about that. We do not do a dynasty league. So this is basically going to be geared towards those who are not in a dynasty league. The way we're going to do it, I think, Scott, is we're going to go through a couple early round. So we'll go through a few of those, a couple of mid round or value plays, and then maybe some later round. Yep. So first one for early round would be Jamar Chase or Bijan Robinson. Would you rather have a wide receiver one or an elite running back to start?
Wide receiver one all day, every day. It doesn't matter to me if it's PPR or not. If I have a chance to get the best wide receiver in the league, compared to maybe the best running back in the league, I'm going wide receiver every time. I just think that they tend to score more points. They tend to have fewer injuries overall. Not guaranteeing that. It depends if your quarterback leaves you hanging over the middle for a concussion, but Jamar Chase was the Triple Crown winner last year. I have a feeling he's probably going to lead the league in at least reception yards again this year. No reason not to take him for a very safe elite player on your team.
Yeah, I also agree. I switched my fantasy draft strategy a couple years ago to picking great wide receivers early on. I just was curious because it wasn't really a strategy that I used. And I finished second and third the past couple years. So, and that's just with kind of stacking wide receivers that are pretty damn good. And I've gotten kind of lucky, obviously, but I would definitely pick Chase if I have the choice between those two.
Yeah, and I will say, while we talk strategy here, that strategy works best in my opinion when you're talking elite, like the elite out of the elite.
Yep.
When we're talking later rounds or sleepers, I think it's easier to catch a sleeper or a breakout wide receiver than it is a sleeper or breakout running back.
Yep.
So I'm strictly talking about early rounds. When we're talking about elite players, I'm taking the wide receiver every time.
Yep. All right, go ahead for the second one.
Yeah, second one, Saquon Barkley or Jameer Gibbs. So both these guys have been pretty dominant, but we got the bell cow, Saquon Barkley coming off of just an absolutely dominant season. Jameer Gibbs having a little bit more youth and maybe versatility, maybe more of a pass catcher potentially. What are your thoughts on that, Deeb?
Ooh, that is a really tough one, especially with the year that Saquon Barkley had last year and almost breaking the record. I think the one question I have is on the Lions depth chart. This is something I need to look up real quick because I'm wondering, do they still are they still going to be doing? I mean, yeah, they still have David Montgomery, and so that's like the only downside. Like Gibbs is an incredible player, and when we saw David Montgomery get injured, you saw him shine. Like he clearly had to carry the load. But unfortunately, from a fantasy perspective, he misses out on some touchdowns and carries because they do that kind of split, and especially in the goal line. So for me, that's why I'm picking Saquon Barkley, just because I think, a very clear number one on the Eagles, and they run the ball a lot. So from a fantasy perspective, I pick him.
Yeah, as much as I want to say that with the tush push and how many touchdowns Jalen Hurts steals from Saquon Barkley, it doesn't matter at all. That dude still he's their guy at that position. He's not going to have to split a lot of time with another running back. And I think maybe this year we'll start to see Gibbs take more time and Montgomery take less in Detroit. But the fact of the matter is that Montgomery's still going to get his. And Montgomery, I feel like, is a little bit better on those goal lines at just kind of going right up the gut and getting those touchdowns. So there's also some vulturing of touchdowns from Gibbs there. I think you would be silly to not, in a redraft league, you would be silly to not take Saquon Barkley this year as I think the only person I might put above him is Bijan Robinson. Saquon would be my number one or two out of all running backs.
That's fair. All right, next one, Justin Jefferson or Malik Neighbors? Do you want more of an established wide receiver who has some track record, or do you want more of a breakout rookie with a pretty high ceiling? And a couple new potential quarterbacks that's throwing him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think the quarterback situation is the question mark here. Based upon his history, you don't not pick Justin Jefferson, except for the fact that they have JJ McCarthy playing, who has never taken a snap in a regular season football game. Conversely, though, the Giants, who knows how quickly they might have Jackson Dart starting out there, who also has never played in a regular season NFL game. Russell Wilson is not going to be a long term answer there. Jameis Winston, probably not their long-term answer there. And so there's a lot of QB uncertainty. And when there's uncertainty like that, I go with the tried and true. Give me Justin Jefferson. But I do think if you'd say the same question about a year or two from now, when things have leveled out a little bit, Neighbors might be the pick. I mean, he's a freak. He's a beast, but so is Jefferson. And we
I mean,
know that Jefferson can get
do
it
you
done.
think Malik Neighbors is even like a top 3 round pick in fantasy?
Top 3 round?
Yeah, within the first 3 rounds, you think he's kind of
Yeah.
falls in there?
Yeah. I mean, I would probably take him. I think because of his situation, I know that he's ranked in these ranking lists. He's ranked higher than a lot of people I think are better than him for this year. So there's some guys like Puka Nakua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London. Some of these guys fall after him in his rankings. I would probably take them over Neighbors, but I think Neighbors is still like a second or third round option in these drafts. I just don't think I would take him in the first round.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, first round's pretty wild unless he was getting the ball from like Tom Brady. Then
Well,
I'd be
yeah,
like,
and
all right.
people are willing to argue that. If people want to argue with that, I would love to hear the arguments because Malik Neighbors is an absolute monster at the position of wide receiver. And the reason I am reserved on picking him that early is not because of him. It's because of his situation.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
QB. I gotcha. Okay. All right, you got the next one. We're gonna move into mid round in value
Yeah, which
plays.
just kind of talked about one of these guys. So let's talk about wide receivers in the mid round. Nico Collins versus Puka Nakua. You've got Nico, who's been kind of a rising star over the last 2 years, but so is Puka. I mean, they're both young, very talented stars. So who are we looking at here? I mean, who would you pick, dude?
I mean, I had Nico Collins last year. He was one of my top picks one of the top wide receivers that I took last year. And I mean, man, for the first few games, the guy was unreal. I'm telling you, I was like, he would score like 40 points. Like it was like fake. And then he got hurt. He made a comeback at the end, but he was on such a momentous streak, generally speaking. And so I think he has a ton of upside. I don't it's I mean, Puka Nakua, like, I don't necessarily know that he's again, very super talented guy, but like he also got hurt last year. And so he was limited, in terms of like some of the production. So I'm just thinking again through their situations. I think the Texans are probably going to be a little bit better if I had to guess this year. So I'm probably going to stick with Nico Collins as long as he stays healthy. Because if he has any part of a season like he started last year, like it's a no brainer. The guy's like unreal if that's what's going to happen. So I would bet on him.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. They both have a little bit of fragility. I think they both have potential for injury. I think Nico Collins depends more on the deep ball than maybe Puka Nakua does for his fantasy football production. But with that being said, he's done it well for 2 years, and CJ Stroud had a pretty down year last year compared to his rookie year, but that still lended itself to Nico Collins having a good year. I think a lot of this will depend on the situation, like we keep saying, and I feel like the Rams situation is kind of bleak right now. We don't really know. I mean, Matthew Stafford, up until yesterday, there were rumors that he might be retiring because of his back issues.
Hmm.
Now we saw that he's on the practice field and planning to play, but that doesn't settle. That doesn't give you a settling feeling that they're going to have a great passing game. So,
Yeah.
I normally I would say Puka Nakua with the situation going on with Matt Stafford. If I'm drafting today with the limited knowledge that I have about his season long outlook, I probably would play it safer and go with Nico Collins. If you're taking one of these guys, you're probably going to be able to pick another player really soon after. But you definitely want to make sure that the guy you choose in the first round or the early second round is going to be productive. So that would be my recommendation: to just play it a little safer and take Nico.
Okay. Next one we have Jonathan Taylor or Bucky Irving. Do you want a reliable, potentially reliable, more experienced running back, or a sophomore season? You know, not a rookie any longer. That had a pretty hot finish and was one of my sleeper pickups last year, which did a lot of people dirty.
Give me Bucky or give me death. This is a guy that I said 4 months ago, I could see him being a top 3 fantasy running back this year, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was the bars down number 1 fantasy football running back this year. I think that that is a hot take, but this guy has all of the tangibles. He gets it done. He's on a decent offense, a good enough offense that he can still run the ball without having the box stacked against him. Jonathan Taylor is still productive after all this time. I thought he might fall off a bit. He still gets it done, but put my trust in Bucky. I'm a Bucky Irving guy. I think he's going to be the man here moving very soon. Very soon.
Hell yeah. Go Ducks. I don't know if you knew he played for Oregon or not, but he did.
I didn't. I mean, I don't follow college quite as closely as you do, so no, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, he was incredible there. Like, whenever he touched the ball, it was one of those players where you were like, he could literally break an 80-yard run at any time. Like, he
Mhm.
was, I think, very underappreciated and underrated. The challenge of probably why you never heard of him is because they had about 3 reasonable running backs and they split time. So he wasn't like a Genti, where he was like the only star on the team. So he kinda got a weird, like, didn't always carry the ball every play, but they might as well gave it to him every play. Every time I watched him play, I was like, "This guy's amazing." So, I mean, I agree with you. I don't know if he's gonna be the number 1 running back next year. Like, I could definitely see him being in the top 5 for sure. Jonathan Taylor, I just looked at some of his stats because I was curious. Like, he had a pretty good year. He had 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns. I mean, I think couple years before, like, he's been pretty consistent. They're probably
Oh
gonna
yeah.
have to run the ball because of Daniel Jones may or may not be good. We'll have to see what ends up happening, but I like Bucky on the upside. I'm probably it depends on what round we're talking. Like, I'm probably picking Bucky in, like, the 3rd round if I can get him. I'm not taking him, like, 1st or 2nd round, in my opinion. I'm trying to see if he slips, but I don't know if he will because
I
of
think
what
they're
I
both
see.
second round picks. I think Bucky Irving is a late second round pick at best. Someone
Yeah,
might take him in the middle of the second. That's my projection.
that's fair.
But I think they both go in the second. So then it does come down to who do you want more?
Yeah. Alright, what's next?
Dak Prescott or Geno Smith? Obviously, Dak is a little safer, had more of a consistent career. As much as I hate to admit that, Geno Smith easier to draft. He's going to be much further down. You can get him in a later round, but he's only really had one good season in his career, and now he's on a different team than he was when he had that good season. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I do also think you can get Geno later. So in terms of mid rounds, like value play, I mean, maybe I'm drafting him later on if I really need a QB. I don't know that I'm taking him 4th round or 5th round, or you know what I mean? He's definitely a guy that he might even go undrafted. Dak Prescott all literally depends on his health. Like, the guy can throw for almost 5,000 yards. I mean, I looked at a couple of his seasons. He had 4,900. He had 4,500 in 2023, 36 touchdowns. Like, he's got CD Lamb. He now has, what's his name? George
George
Pickens.
Pickens. Yep.
I mean, he has some weapons. He has more weapons than what he had. If he stays healthy, like, I'd probably pick Dak in this.
Fair enough. My redraft fantasy football strategy has always been stack as many running backs and wide receivers as you can for depth and talent and take a quarterback late. So I would probably recommend if it was me drafting this, I would not be taking Dak Prescott. I don't know, Geno Smith is who I want, but I would be drafting a quarterback late. I'm talking like round 10, 11. Someone who's going to be serviceable that will start all year, that might not even be in the top 15 at their position, but they're going to play.
Hmm.
but you're going to be really good at every other position because you didn't use that early pick on a quarterback. So you got another really good wide receiver or running back for those rounds. That's my
Yeah.
strategy typically in these leagues. It tends to pay off well, unless you get a guy like Josh Allen in like the third or fourth round, which if you can do that, that might be worthwhile. But most of the time, like the Lamars, the Allens, they're going to go within the first couple of rounds.
Yeah. That's fair. All right. Last one for this section, and then maybe we can just kind of rapid fire the later round breakouts since those are more all speculative. But
Yeah.
Tyler Warren or George Kittle, so rookie tight end with some upside or established veteran.
Give me Kittle for a redraft league. If we're talking dynasty league, I'd probably go Warren here. Kittle, I mean, in most leagues, Kittle was the tight end one last year, and the other leagues he was tight end two, depending on how scoring worked. He's a touchdown machine with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy just got a long-term contract extension. I'm riding with Kittle this year over Tyler Warren, but I do think Tyler Warren will be better in the very near future.
Oh man. Well, I'm probably gonna go with Tyler Warren just for the unexpected. I think I've had a good history of drafting rookie tight ends. So I drafted um oh my god, was it
Laporta.
Laporta his
Yep.
rookie year? Crazy. Didn't do as well last year. And then last year I drafted Brock Bowers later. So I've had a pretty good run. So give me Kyler Warren to see
I
if
will,
I can go on another run.
and I will say kind of the same thing I just talked about with the QBs. You can get Tyler Warren later in the draft, so that actually might be a good strategy to target someone like him who, even if they start a little slow, will probably be good by the midpoint in the season. And I trust Daniel Jones to throw him the ball a lot more than I trusted Anthony Richardson to throw him the ball. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's looking more appealing. And again, if you can get a top wide receiver or running back, then yeah, maybe you wait and hold out for a rookie tight end instead of George Kittle. Yeah, I could see it either way.
Okay. What do we have for our late round or more breakout type
Oh, this
players?
this first one's going to be really fun. So late round breakouts, later rounds, we're talking rookies a lot here. Would you rather have Ashton Genty or Omarion Hampton for a redraft league?
Um, I mean, I gotta put my money where my mouth is. Aston Genty. They're gonna need him. He's gonna struggle like we talked about, but they're gonna give him the ball. I mean, Geno
He's
Smith
going to be a
doesn't have
workhorse.
that many weapons.
He's going to be a workhorse, and he proved in the second preseason game that he's not a bum. I know some people were scared after his first one, but he truck sticked somebody so hard in the second game, and I was like, there he is. There he is. I would probably go with Genty as well, but Hampton is appealing because you can get him later, a little later, not much later in the draft,
Mhm.
and he's on a better team. He might just have less coverage on him specifically because he's not as needed, but he also might lose some touches to Najee Harris. So um,
Yep.
I would probably go Genty, but I don't feel strongly either way.
All right. Tet McMillan or Drake London?
Ooh, I think Tet is going to be really good, but I would take Drake London over Tet at this point. I think London had a really strong year last year, and he's going to just keep capitalizing from that.
Yeah, I got the opposite. I like to bet on the rookie
Hmm.
here. I mean, again, if I'm talking later round or potential breakouts, that's who I'm going with for that.
Yeah, and again, these rookies you can get later in the draft. You know,
Yeah,
someone
for
like
sure.
Drake London's going to go in the second round. Tet might go around 4 or 5.
Yeah. What's the next one? Is it me or you? I'm trying to remember.
It's me. It's going to be
Okay.
Chuba Hubbard versus Kenneth Walker. Who do you got?
I don't really like either of them. I mean, maybe Kenneth Walker. I don't know if I absolutely had to. I'm probably not drafting either, if you want me to be honest.
I wouldn't feel great about Kenneth Walker this year. I think he's a very talented guy. He had a good productive year last year, but he's got some injury issues, and I actually feel like Sharp might take over that backfield at some point. So
Yeah,
give me Hubbard. Chuba had a good year last year, and he kind of did solidify himself as the back there. I would take that over Kenneth.
that's fair. Um, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Travis Hunter?
Not even close. I actually don't think Travis Hunter is going to be a good, viable fantasy football player. especially if he's trying to play both sides of the ball. I just can't see him being productive at the top of the level at both of them or either of them. So Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't care about what round it is. I don't want to draft Travis Hunter.
Everybody already knows my answer, so I'm gonna continue on. All right. For the last one, you have to pick one of these players. So who are the four?
J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold on a new team, Bo Nix, or Michael Penix Jr. CBS, I'm looking at you. Penix.
I'm picking Bo Nix. I think
Yeah.
he's going to be a top 8 quarterback this coming year in fantasy.
I'm a Bo guy. The way he handled his team in the second half of the season last year sold me. I'm a Bo guy. I'd take Bo Nix as well.
Yeah, Bo.